Hello again. Here's how to make one of these Acrobat toys. It's I suppose you could call it a vintage toy or a retro toy. I suppose you could make these as part of a topic on the Victorians. I haven't actually done this with a class in a primary school, so I reckon probably year 5 and 6 could do it. Perhaps with some of the parts prepared, perhaps even year 4 could assemble their Acrobat. I'm going to make the side frames out of C100 8mm by 8mm wood. These pieces are about 30, let's see, they're about 34 centimetres long. They do need to be roughly that length, and I try and avoid having to drill holes in primary schools because the primary schools I've been to quite often don't have a drill, but we do have to drill 2 holes in the ends of both pieces because they've got to line up. I think the easiest thing to do is to sellotape 2 bits of wood together temporarily. So I'm just going to sellotape them together like this. And we need to drill 2 holes 1 centimetre apart, about 1 centimetre from the end, so something like that. We could use a hand drill. I think probably year 5 and 6 could use one of these sort of drills. I'm going to use a electric drill, and I've got a 2.5mm drill bit. You could use a 2mm drill bit, even a 3mm, but not more than 3mm because the wood will probably split. So we'll just drill those 2 holes. There we are. Oh no, we haven't quite gone through. That's better. There we are. Make sure the holes are cleaned out because we've got to try and persuade a piece of string to go through those holes. I do plan to do this as a workshop in primary schools. I will probably supply them the pieces of wood with the holes already cut. So we'll just now release those. So there's our 2 side frames for the mechanism, and now we're going to glue them together with a spacer, and that is about 6 centimetres long. I wouldn't make it any smaller than that. It could be 7 or 8 centimetres long, and it's going to go in between the 2 pieces of wood like that. But it's very important that you make sure that the holes are going across the wood like this, so that the holes should be going that way, not like that. And the piece of wood should be about 13 centimetres from the other end, so roughly 13 centimetres from the end. So we'll try and get this lined up. We'll use the cutting mat as a guide. That looks about right. I'm going to use a glue gun to glue that in. Once again, double check that you've got the holes going across. I think my glue gun is long enough to reach. There we are. And quickly put that in. Where are we? 13 centimetres is about there. Should have marked that really with a pencil. Never mind, I think I've got away with it. Move it so it doesn't stick to the table. And that's our H frame that's going to make the Acrobat work. Now we could leave it like that. It does work, but inevitably I think pupils are going to be a bit too enthusiastic, and they're going to snap it. because those joints are under quite a lot of strain. You can reinforce them with card triangles, and I'd put card triangles on both sides. They work as well, but inevitably I think even those will start to buckle and fold. So I'm going to stick on some little triangles that I've made out of 3mm correx plastic sheet. So I'm just going to glue those on. I think if I'm quick I can do two at the same time. This is low melt glue, so you've only got 5 seconds to glue things together. There's the two on that side. There we are. Not perfect, but that's okay. That's what happens when you rush. And now I'm going to do the other two on the other side. There we are. 1, 2. So now we've got some nice reinforced joints there, so that it will withstand even the most enthusiastic pupil. We're now going to start work on the Acrobat. Now, we could make a very lifelike Acrobat with the body shape and the head shape, even fingers and toes, but the parts have to be cut out of quite thick material, cardboard, thick card, and I think it's quite difficult to cut out complicated shapes for primary pupils. So I've gone for a more stylized version of the Acrobat, just using kind of rectangular shapes, and I've used my favourite material once again, correx. Now I've got a rectangle here. This is the torso, the body, and that's made out of 4mm correx, and that rectangle is about just over 8 centimeters long and 3 centimeters wide. And if you want to, it's optional, you can kind of round it off a bit. I'm using card cutting scissors here to make it a little bit more like a body, and if you want to, you could represent the head perhaps by cutting notches out for a neck, and you could even use a hole punch to put an eye to represent the eye of the Acrobat. Again, you could round off the legs as well to look a little bit more organic. There we go. And again the arms, round off the corners. If the pupils can use a craft knife, they could perhaps represent the fingers. I think just to save time I'm just going to quickly cut a notch out. So it's entirely up to the pupils how and their ability, how much they work on the Acrobat. I'm just going to leave it as a stylized version. We've now got to add the legs to the body and the arms, and these have got to be able to move very, very freely. And so we're going to use paper fasteners, and we've got to punch holes in here. Now, I don't know in your school whether you've got any hole punches. The best one I've got is this one. This is a heavy duty hole punch, and it punches a 5mm hole. That's an excellent tool. It's made by Maun Industries. You can find their website fairly easily. This is another Maun hole punch. That makes a 6mm hole. So make sure that your paper fasteners, the head of the paper fastener, is big enough not to fall through the hole. So if I just punch a hole out in this piece of correx here, just make sure that the paper fastener does actually stay in the hole. I've discovered that Staples, the stationery supplier, they do some paper fasteners that have got an extra large head, and also they're 25mm long, and that's useful. It's helpful if you can find some paper fasteners that are over 20mm long. So we can start punching out the holes. We need to punch a hole near the top of each leg, like that. Try and make them the spacing about the same in both legs. So there's the two holes in the legs. We need to punch a hole near the bottom of the torso or body there, and we need to punch a hole at the top of the arms, one there and one there, and we need to punch another hole in the torso at the below the head at the bottom of the neck, in the middle, round about there. So these are the two holes that we're using. We can now start to assemble the Acrobat. We'll do the legs first, and we pass the paper fastener through like this, and then through the other side. But when you bend the legs over, try to bend them over leaving plenty of space. So by that I mean, I don't know if you can you see that there's plenty of room there to allow the legs to spin freely, which they're not doing at the moment, so I need to just redo that a bit better and bend them back a bit. Let's see. That's what I want. I want those legs to be really free running like this. That's very important. The reason I've chosen 4mm correx for the body is to create a big enough space so that they don't bang into each other. And exactly the same with the arms. Pass the paper fastener through, and again try and bend the legs over so that they don't bind on the arms, so that again the arms are free. That's not very good again. That's a little bit better. There we are. That's much better. You can see they are spinning really well. So we've now got an Acrobat with fully working arms and legs. I've got to make two more holes in the ends of the arms. One as close as the end as you can get, and then another one about 1 centimetre away. Like that. Can you see those two holes? And then the same in the other arm, near the end, and then another one roughly about 1 centimetre away. As you can see, they don't have to be precise. So we've now got the two holes in the ends of the arm. Okay, now we can start to assemble the toy. It's important to follow this routine when you're assembling it. You need to lay the Acrobat out so that his arms are coming in like this, and then we're going to pass a piece of string through this lower hole, through the arms, through here, round, and then back that way. But make sure that the Acrobat is standing on his head above the frame. If you did it that way round, your toy wouldn't work. So make sure that he's out that way. So we need to get a piece of string. Just got to make sure I've got plenty. And pass the string through the lower hole. So it's gone through the bottom hole first. And then through the top hole of the first arm. Now I don't know if I can hold this up so you can see. So I've gone through the top hole of the first arm first. Now we need to have a space between the arms. So between there we need a spacer. We could use a bead. I'm going to use a small red pulley, which I've forgotten to bring with me, so I'm going to make one out of a small... No, I'll go and get a pulley. Just 1 second. Here we are. It's just a small pulley with a 4mm hole, but anything similar can do. You could use a small wooden bead. So I'm now going to pass the piece of string through that pulley. I'll try and hold this up so you can see. So can you see it's gone passing through the pulley? And then through the other arm, and then through the lower hole on the other side. I'll just pull that out straight so that you can see the whole assembly. It's quite easy to get this wrong. I'll just lay the arms out. So I don't know, can you see that now? Okay. So now we're going to go back along the top, so round and then back into the other side. If I can persuade the string to go through the hole, there we are. Through the lower hole of one arm. This time it doesn't go through the spacer, just goes straight across into the other hole. Pull it through a bit more, and then finally through the top hole on the other side. So now we've got the strings threaded through, and now I'm going to tie off the string. Now when you tie the string, pull it just tight so it just begins to tighten up. Certainly don't pull it tight enough to pull the pieces of wood together. Just so that you feel it start to tighten up. I'm just going to tie that off and cut off any excess pieces of string. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's see if the Acrobat is working. And when you gently flex the bottom of the pieces of wood, it should make the Acrobat start to do some tricks. You can make the Acrobat go all the way around, you can make him stop, you can make him do a handstand. You can have great fun playing with your Acrobat. So I hope you have a go at making this toy. I'm looking forward to trying it out in a primary school very soon. Thanks for watching.